that there are many things that are happening in the country at the moment, and everybody's kind of looking for direction and looking for some north, some true north, some direction in which where you can go and the things that you can actually do. Well, Kabando is here. He's a politician, and we're looking into from the Orkalao campaign trail and lessons we can actually use to maybe then point us in that direction. Kabando, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing?
We are doing well, and thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for being here.
Come and spice the conversation.
Asante sana.
Asante sana for hosting.
We're going to go into this conversation, but first, we would love to hear your interpretation of the proverb that Dennis has today.
Today we're in Libya. And Libya is a country that when you think about it, you can't help but remember one Muammar Gaddafi. At that time when Muammar Gaddafi was a proponent of a united Africa, where he was pushing for a single currency, and that is backed by the gold, and what that would have done to African economies. And many say that could have been one of the reasons why he was taken out. But remember the country that was where affordable housing, the actual affordable housing was there for the people, education, health, there for the people. Food, access to food in a desert was affordable for the people. But look at Libya today and what politics, when interference happens, what that can do to a country that was a model for the continent. But let's go to the proverb. A man who buys shoes without measuring his feet is not far different from a man who has eyes but no vision.
A man who buys a shoe without measuring
his feet
is no different from a person
with eyes
but
without vision.
But has no vision. I would interpret it to mean that one has to be intentional to do what is supposed to be done.
Well interpreted. Well interpreted. You must know exactly what it is you want to do, because if you don't, then how do you implement it?
True.
How do you achieve it? Well said. Well interpreted, Asante.
For sure. The campaigns, for all intents and purposes, closed yesterday at the end of Monday. And the IEBC then has been clear that, no more campaigning. And now we settle into a place where IEBC gets ready to deliver this election, this by-election in Orkalao on Thursday. Now, even as that is taking place, the political rhetoric that has been formed around this campaign has been quite strong. And that folks have been talking about the possibility that these are indicators of what will happen in 2027. Is it beyond an election? Is it beyond a by-election? Because many things have been said, certain precedent has already been set, and it looks that that's the direction in which the country might be going. Do you think it's just a by-election and we're all going to now, after Thursday, get the result and shut down and then look forward to the next election? Or is this an inroad into 2027?
Orkalao is beyond the by-election that is coming the day after tomorrow. It is, in fact, beyond the contest that is happening between the administration and the opposition, quote unquote. It is beyond the narrative of where the Mulima or Mount Kenya stands vis-a-vis their 2022 huge affiliation with William Ruto. Orkalao is a statement of the national conversation, and it is an indicator of what is likely to be done by the incumbent administration in defense of its previous staffs or the areas where it dominated, and also an indicator of what the citizenry will likely do in the next election. Orkalao is perhaps the only by election where the bigwigs of the political parties have kept away for very easy reasons to understand.
Yeah.
And therefore, we should see it as an audit of this administration. And already, without even casting the first ballot, an audit has been done. Kenyans have seen what has happened. We have had by-elections in Western Kenya, Mulembe Nation. We have had by-elections in Nyanza, Luo Nyanza. At the coast, we had a by-election in Magarini the other day. In northeastern Kenya, northern part of Kenya, we have had by-elections. But no other area has what has been done by the UDA administration, specifically by the party leader of the Kenya Kwanza, William Ruto, in Orkalao. I think it is a thinly veiled message that the administration has panicked. The government has stopped working. Every cabinet secretary is camping in Orkalao. All members of parliament affiliated to the administration have been allocated millions. And I'm saying millions because it's something that we have seen. We have seen the national budget completely upset in order to fit into Orkalao statement, even trying to create Lake Victoria within Orkalao and delivering a boat. Even trying to dominate the priority that should be SGR to a single cabin trolley as a train in Orkalao. So, in Orkalao, we are seeing a different ball game because it's an audit of a panicky government, a government that is cornered, is marooned. It is very desperate. There have been a statement of severe desperation, I'm telling you. I may not have been there a longer time. There are people who have been camping there for the last 1 month or so. Yeah. But I've been there a few hours, a few days, and I had that opportunity to speak to the people. Also among the voters, there is an audit. You know, UD was born in Rorie ward of Orkalao. Okay. Okay, that's where they got the first member of a legislature, an MCA in Rorie ward. And it is what gave impetus to the Ruto momentum within that particular area. The Abadeas and the mountainous villages. Now, we are back to Orkalao. Nearly how many years? 30 years later?
30 years later.
30 years later, we are in Kipipiri. The famous headline of Taifa Leo. Moi Aoja, Pilipili, Kipipiri. Naye Ruto, tutajua Alhamisi. Lake ni lipi. Now, when I went there, I joined young people. Many people have been assigned. The infrastructure of the DCP party has assigned people police stations, and so you have people managing marshals. They are organized, organic with the people on the ground. I decided to go and join young aspirants, a number of them, who are visiting homes of the elderly. I posted some pictures 3-4 days ago on my social media account, and I would like to mention 2 places that we went. In an interior village. One home, we went to see an elderly lady who was, I think, the first to vote during the party nominations. Instead of us going to talk to the lady and convincing her, she received us with the stories on arrival in our homestead. And it was like teaching us and warning us what to do. She told us, I come from Teto, in a place called Gatito. My father is Mr. Home, near Kagoberi Girls. And so I know a lot of the stories about Mau Mau. I know the stories about multi-party democracy. And when Kenyatta came, when Moi came, when Kibaki came, she talked to us for about 20 minutes. Until we said, we came here for a lesson. This is a lady who has a precision of Kenya's independence, but bitterness about the betrayals that have happened over time. And particularly this time, she says it's very bitter because of the belief and trust they had that Ruto was good to read, be the spokesman of the Hustler. But the hero of the day is one Mzee Wainaina Bogwa, who has had the throat cancer for the last 18 years. And therefore, he is speaking through the
device.
The device.
Yeah.
Okay. So immediately he came out from the house. They got us standing outside his house. He just, greeted us. And I was very happy because he recognized me. Said he watches TV, so he had seen me the 2 days before. But that's not the story. The story is that he spoke to us again for about the same time, like the other lady. And he narrated the story of Kenya. He told us how we are betraying them, how the leadership has failed. He spoke about education. He spoke about health sector. Mr. Wainaina Bogwa spoke to us like he was giving us a lecture on how to do leadership and good governance and be of integrity. So when you are meeting those kind of voters, elderly, and after that, of course, we went to a bigger meeting, about 400 people. Then we went to speak to Azes in a welfare group, about 92 of them. So in Orkalao, you get the elderly people. They are not, when you go to those homesteads, you don't see an elderly woman of the age of your mother and you just live like that and you are parking a car. It's not bribery, but you may buy sukari, just like an appreciation, like the way ladies don't go
empty-handed
and all that.
Yes.
Imagine both of them separately, and they are different locations. Because we are targeting them, and they are already identified by our local marshals. Even when they saw, like you are about to give, a present, like asking his number so that you can put something there, just a natural appreciation. They say, no. You can see they are like embarrassed to be given something in a campaign time.
They don't want it.
They don't want. They need. Like this man has had, Mzee Wainaina, Bo has had cancer for 18 years.
Yeah.
Because they're making the connection.
Because they're making connection.
If you give me something, it means that you're buying my vote.
And all that,
okay.
So so Orkalao will be very interesting. I'll be, many people will be, I would say, will be very surprised if there's any other outcome apart from defeat of Ruto party. So
who's taking the money though, Kabando? Who's taking the handouts that seem to be coming? Who's taking the mattresses? I mean, this is granted. This is an. I need to be careful here. But this is the folks that you describe are an older gentleman and an older woman, who have given you Kenya's history and an understanding of where they have come from and where they are going. And so they've made the connection between, if I take even a token of appreciation from you, Kabando, what I'm doing is that I am making it look as though I'm selling my vote, right?
Yes.
But then there are folks in Orkalao who are still whatever else is being offered, and it's not a token of appreciation, it's the flooding of Orkalao with product and things that many argue should have been done through a proper governance structure anyway. But they're taking the money. We have the videos of the people who say, I don't even need to go to work today because there's money that's coming in every day. So is there a divergent view within Orkalao about this that you mentioned?
It's actually not exactly a divergent view. Is that because of the poverty levels in any society, not just Kenya, any part of the world, if you go with food, people receive food. Basic instinct is for basic survival. So I come to a neighborhood, I have a truck of sondas or bread. The natural thing will be like if you go to the streets of Nairobi, where around, if you go to Jamia Mosque, there are people who are settled their lunch hour during prayers. Even if they are not begging, if you start there, they look upon you. So the natural instinct for any animal, including human, that when you drop forage, they'll eat, even if the forage is dry, they didn't have another alternative. But the 4 years of economic starvation cannot be cured by a moment of campaign handout.
Mm-hmm.
And the audit for the administration is being done not just by the elite, but by those who are carrying the heaviest burden of the atrocities that are happening. In those villages of Orkalao, when on my second day there, I saw people delivering the mattresses that are labeled GOK. As I speak, their mattresses that have been delivered to the JM Karaoke Memorial Hospital in truckloads. In fact, the gallant campaign coordinator there, John Medho, the senator for Nyandarua, Secretary General of DCP, was delivered. His homestead was delivered loads of those mattresses for them to be taken to JM Karaoke Memorial. As I speak, can ask your media on the ground. Because people are saying these are mattresses that are clearly designed for patients by their size, they are meant for hospital beds.
Yes.
So people are saying, if I use this mattress, it's like I'm a patient in a hospital. I've denied Kenyatta National Hospital or mattresses to my homestead. So it's like a curse. So many people are declining to put those mattresses inside
their homes.
Even for the gas, as much as it is a utility equipment, people are also saying, really, they have been made so quickly, delivered so quickly, we are being bribed to take gas. And this is from a president who said that gas will be costing 300 to 500 shillings, and it is still up to 3,000 shillings and above. So the desperation, the panicky atmosphere that is happening, where you have cascaded all cabinet secretaries. And by the way, even in parastatals, they have sent employees, particularly those in management, in parastatals who speak Kikuyu language. They have been compelled, coerced to go to Orkalao and camp on the ground in order to campaign. So it is suffocating government performance and delivery of services because of this need. But you know what? The audit is coming. And the audit is that because of this government that has made 100, just a few years ago, we had 100% transition to high school. As we speak, Orkalao knows and everyone else knows that 150,000 grade 10 pupils have not transited
to school.
From grade 9 to grade 10. They can see that. They can see many other things, including share happening. They can also see the militia dominance. You have seen and you know, how did these other nations fail? All nations in the world that are in war, including Sudan, started the way Kenya is starting. Police combining with criminal gangs in order to protect a regime that is cornered, a regime that is under siege. Slowly, the authorities, the civic agencies that have now been subdued, that have been oppressed, in order for them to lose legitimacy. If you talk about the IPOA, Independent Oversight Authority for the Police, if you talk about the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, they are no longer speaking. If you talk about the control of budget is always being attacked, the Auditor General is always being attacked, Parliament is completely kaput. So people can see the degeneration to a militia state. And when those people become part of the system, in the police force, they can, in the local area, they can dominate the OCS, the officer commanding the station there, the officer in charge of the police division, the OCPD. Then they'll demand more blood. And when they demand more blood, they actually subjugate the state agencies. When they do that, they become illegal state operatives.
And
we are
Kabando,
there, yeah.
all this is happening at a time when everybody can see what is happening.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at IEBC and even its response to, it's pretty much push from Wananchi on what is happening there, that we saw individuals getting fined. But that notwithstanding, it had perpetuated for a very, very long time. As we approach this audit that you say, what would you reckon is IEBC's role in ensuring that the election on ground reflects that which ought to be?
I think without sounding alarmist, we need more than IEBC. Because IEBC, as we said this last time here, as currently constituted, is of surrogates, captives. People are criticizing IEBC as an institution, but we look at the composition of IEBC. One person who is the chair was actually recruited without going through the serious due process. But people said, okay, it's from Turkana. Okay, we even want to ignore that he is a proxy of an employee of Ruto at the State House, and he used to work with that employee in the county government of Turkana for 10 years. So people say, we want to ignore that, so that we want to build a nation of ethnic diversity, inclusivity. So we ignore that. Another member is known to have been one of the drivers of the National Youth Service scandals when he was working at the ministry. Again, people said, oh, he comes from a minority community in the north, and he has friends within Azimio, so, well, they can work, cross-cutting and all that. As currently constituted, IEBC will require a lot of pressure and oversight, besides very strong observer missions, very strong political party organizations, and for the election to happen competitively, those of us who are not within government will have to organize ourselves better, so that we minimize the chance. If a government sees the multitude of the coalition that has been built, and then it sees the massive interest of other institutions, including external. This is what we call even Friends of Kenya, to take a keen interest on what is happening. Because IEBC is captured, the police force is being dominated by the militia. That's a fact. See what is happening everywhere. The attack even everywhere, even over there in Kisumu, in Nyahururu. Despite that, all those meetings have been pronounced and advertised very well. So they'll need a lot of pressure. But the good thing is that we are all largely agreed that the system and the incumbent regime has something to do. They may come with the PowerPoint, but people will come with unpaid bills. People will come with the reports of mortuaries where their children were taken when they were shot. They will come with PowerPoint to say, we are giving new promises. But people will come and show Ruto the land that he used, the hustlers, to get to the top, where he started throwing taxes to them. So I think it is not lost, because Kenyans are agreed. The only thing they are asking is they are going to be an organization that will do things okay, so that we have a credible alternative. But in terms of the lease for this current administration, I bet that citizens are ready to terminate.
You seem to be saying, I'm not, just for some clarity, that beyond this is just a symptom of something deeper, and that there is a cry for Kenyans to say, can we actually have governance and leadership that ensures that the handout culture that we see that has happened in the last few days then is unnecessary? Because we asked ourselves the questions: was there no running water in Orkalao the last 30 years? Was there amenities for people? Did they not exist? These things that people are saying now, that these packages that go to the people, would they not have been done before? And that the people can see that this is almost, the proverbial birthright stew story where, you give me yours, I give you mine. So you see something deeper than this. And is there a lesson for Kenyans to then heed here?
The first lesson actually should be very localized, and Nyandarua is a very rich neighborhood. It has very fertile soils, it has ample rainfall, and there is part of this country that has a good space to grow horticulture and do all sorts of farming, including dairy. And we should actually be asking why Orkalao, which is not arid or semi-arid, is not that comfortable. It's a story of the betrayal of Kenya by leadership. Orkalao is where J.M. Kariuki came from. And, remember his famous call that Kenya should not become a nation of 10 millionaires and 10 million beggars.
Yeah.
In the interior part of Nyandarua, largely inaccessible. Many parts without piped water, domestic water, that's true. Large tracts of places there that deserve dams and for irrigation, mechanized agriculture, not happening. There has been a problem, not just in Orkalao, but in the whole country of the Republic of Kenya. Therefore, the problems of Orkalao cannot be lumped on one particular administration or individual. That I dare say. Because J.M. Kariuki was killed because he dared the domination of the state by those unfit and those who are insensitive to the needs of the people. The same that happened to Lama Pio Pinto, the freedom fighter, who was shot here in Parklands, or even Tom Mboya in 1969. Remember, Pinto was the first assassination in 1965, and Tom Mboya 1969. J.M. attended, was the only person from Mount Kenya region to attend the funeral of Tom Mboya at Rusinga Island. So, the question of impunity and the corruption is a statement of why Kenya has lagged behind. The only difference between the previous administrations and this administration is that this is doing shameless robbery through deception, and not apologizing for it, not even pretending to do something, but really hypocritically engaging in acts that can even be discovered by a 5-year-old, that this is not the right way to go. And the contradiction of it is because Ruto came on the hallmark of the hustler, who is going to deal with the basic issues of the Mama Bogas, may I say Mama Warus. Kalou is known for Waru.
Yeah.
So, the bitterness with the people, the anger with the people, is that their hope has been robbed. And now, even without shame, is downloading the gluttony, the ravenous gluttony of his proxies, his sycophants, to the ground. The kind of campaign that has been done to Orkalao is a clear evidence that this administration is not ready to let go. Unfortunately, our vanguard is the Constitution of Kenya. And things will happen. The lease is being terminated. The specimen of how termination will happen will be within the next 2 days on Thursday. Next year will be an avalanche of that termination. But we must be mature and good enough and patriotic enough to organize ourselves so that the takeover from Ruto will be a clear alternative with a clear charter on how to do things different.
Kabando, we look at what is happening in Orkalao today, and many have said that is the litmus test for what is to happen in 2027. Now we look at how the law has been abrogated because we've seen state officers on the campaign trail against the law. The court has ruled on that. We know very well what we should do, what we must do, and what we shouldn't do.
Yeah.
But that notwithstanding, then, you look at the people's response, whether you talk about Mbere, what happened in Mbere, Malava, would one reckon that the feeling on ground on how they feel and the change they need cuts across beyond even Orkalao?
It does cut across. A very good question. You know, let's go back to 2002. The same country, the same constitution, the same people. But within hours, people behaved differently. The very people who are subservient somehow to Daniel Moi, a few hours after the rainbow took over, through Moi Kibaki, were gathering at the KICC singing Marietu for takeover of Kenyatta International Convention Center. And indeed, that generation of national demand that KICC must go back to the people because they had been grabbed by KANU did happen through the Ministry of Tourism. A few months later, everything was done, and today KICC is a parasito. What does it say? The same people and a new different environment. Remember, in the first few days of that administration, 2003, civilians were arresting traffic police officers who were trying to take a bribe on the roads. And things happened. Remember, the same people who are crowding matatus, are demanding loud music and everything, walking to town when then Minister Michuki demanded that they all install safety belts, which is a good legacy to date. People decided to defy their
comfort,
walked long distances to places of work, risked their jobs because they were arriving to places of work late, but to support a good policy. Now, this administration, when people are seeking even to demand or protest non-violently for new policy, for better terms, for a good governance, what is the response? Subarus, bullet. When children in schools are asking, and when I talk about children, I'm talking about the youth of Kenya, they're asking for bread, they're asking for jobs, they're asking for just placement in colleges and universities. What are they getting? Bullet. Instead of bread, bullet. Instead of comfort of trekking with twigs and placards into a Subaru, abductions. So, what I know is that it takes daring or audacity for things to change. But when those things change, you remember, you see all these bypasses. I've used a bypass to arrive here. Otherwise, I would have come here at 10 instead of, I arrived here an hour before because of these eastern, northern, southern bypasses. When Raila Odinga was Minister for Roads, when he was demolishing those houses, he was said he was attacking the rich people who had built on government public land. So, if you do the right thing, people will be with you. Remember, in the first few months of Ruto administration, some of us were supporting him on when he was saying he's going to make sure everybody pay taxes, and he was saying, you know, I'm going to upset this system, I'm going to establish an inquiry to investigate on impunities. We agreed. But what happened? He targeted those who are corrupt. He enrolled them into his cabinet. He started seeking the so-called dynasties that was condemning. He brought them to their fold and started abrogating the constitution, breached every article of the constitution, appointing illegal advisors. You know, he said he is going to change the university funding model. Now, universities are collapsing. Those that are still standing by grace of God or by spectacular stewardship by the administrations, they are just fortunate. So, Yes, Kenyans the same. They will receive a bribe here. They will receive a handout here, whether it's in a Malava, whether it's in Kisumu. You will get a goon in Nyahururu. You will get a goon in Homa Bay. But it's because the fish is rotten from the head. It is because, as I said last time, the eloquence of empty plates and the eloquence of deception is in place, and the reign of statehood and the palace of the Republic of Kenya is occupied by the unfit.
Another thing that has come into, and I've thought about this for a couple of days now, and really went into, as we look at the violence that we see, that seems to now be an element of wherever you are, politics. I look at rallies that started maybe 6 months ago.
Yes.
And in everything, there has either been the threat of violence or there has been actual violence. And it has exacerbated to the point that we see what we saw a couple of days ago in Kisumu and in Nyahururu. Violence is it's an old age tool of politics. It's been used for the longest time as a tool. But what it is doing now seems to be instilling fear in the hearts and minds of many. So two things happen. Number one, they don't come out.
Yes.
And number two, they do not speak up against the status quo because they are afraid. How do you see this playing out moving into the future, when at the same time we are saying that constitutionalism and the voice of the people must be the loudest?
You know, let's first celebrate the veterans that have been vanguards of non-violent politics in this country. Just to show how backward we have gone when it comes to political maturity, from places where we demand and deserve good examples. You know, there was a time in this country when a tomboya would be a candidate here in a Kamukoji, dominated by the Gikuyu community, but you'd always defeat the Wanjegis. There was a time when Achinga Neko would contest in Nakuru town and win hands down against a 90% dominated ethnic Gikuyu. That things used to happen. There was a time when J.M. Kariuki in 1974 would not put a poster and will not go to campaign because it was bad for him even campaigning, and is elected with a landslide, 95% of the vote, yet he is not even campaigning, and there's not a single voter who is molested, and there's not a single skirmish. So the state could push you, but it did not go that extra mile. There was, of course, the incidences of extremism, but I'm talking about the communal today. The example you are getting, not just from Orkalao, from every part of this country, because you have seen what has been happening in churches.
Yeah.
You know, in Kariobangi, you saw what happened to Sivuna and Orengo. You saw what happened in Nyahururu. And government is present. These rallies are announced. These are places of worship. You saw even yesterday there was an attack of a member of Yala, Kaninkega, my friend. So, where we are going is a dangerous place. And many people are speaking. Last evening, there was Baraka Muluka in these studios in KTN. And he spoke exactly what I'm saying now and what other people have said before. We are not just talking about a president who is at a siege and who is extremely greedy and extremely desperate. I dare say we are not just talking about Ruto the person that we know.
Who are we talking about?
We are talking about a conman. And you're talking about something that people may not want to hear. We are talking about a person whose track record is known. You know, we have a mzee called Atwoli. Before he came to the system to survive and to protect his interests, and he's my friend, I call him my dad, for good reasons. He said that if Ruto becomes president, he will carry the central bank on his shoulders. That was Atwoli. And he said if Ruto loses an election, he is going to hang himself in Sugoi. So we go there to cut all the trees so that he can live to see Kenya being led. Unfortunately, and I saw Kerito Murugi speaking, people who have something to hide from the Kibaki administration, from the Uhuru administration, are now grouping in Ruto. Those former ministers, those senior people who use their positions to misappropriate and loot, who at one time or another have been accused of murder or have been suspended from their position because of allegations of corruption, are now gathering. So the plethora we have today are greedy people, desperate people, and guilty people, I dare say. There's nobody of sane mind, or patriotic zeal and nationalistic credentials who can dare now go and anchor the administration of Ruto. If Ruto, by God forbid, makes back to State House, get a second term, either we have an exodus, as you told us, get out of the country, or he takes us where he vowed he can. Said we go to jail, we get out of the country, or we go to heaven. Going to heaven means the president was saying he is going to kill people. He has killed them. He has killed Gen Zs. He has abducted others. If by mistake he comes back to be the president of Kenya for another 5 years, we'll have many Kiraitos and many Atoris. Those are cowards. Those are guilty. But you'll have an exodus of the Gogo Adhiongos and Shadrach Gutos again. People going to exile because this is a country that will be unlivable. And we need to say this.
It's serious stuff you're saying, Kabando.
And did you see in Embu the other day, my sister do? Yeah. Did you see the president talking in Embu and people are not cheering? Until he got so desperate, he said, oh, you. He pointed to a man. I'm going to give you something so that you can give these people. At top of the vehicle. He has never alighted. He is barely on his desk, except the showcases of what if you cannot address the basic issues of the pocket and food for the people and security for the people. What can you talk about infrastructure fund or sovereign board?
Kabando.
Then you gather children around your state house. I never saw mature people like Kibaki or Moyo Kenyatta never did those kind of things. We are having a child play instead of statecraft.
Kabando leadership is...
You know, when you present children, when you're signing those bills, they are there with the uniforms. Then hand out to schools and all that. But everything else is collapsing. Everything is coming down.
Yeah.
You are rotten to the core. Illiterate.
Kabando leadership is about the people, improving the situation of the people at the end of the day. At a time when the people, Kenyans, are saying things have gotten worse, we are poorer today than when you took office. What credence then do you have to coming back to tell the people that I will deliver if you give me another chance, when the people are telling you, I'm sorry, we are poorer today than before?
Yes. And the bad thing is that multinationals have been relocating. Independent media, particularly this Standard Group, is facing the atrocity of state. How the Nairobi Monthly, the Build magazine, the Society magazine, the Economic Review, they used to, many years before we came multi-party and before we got the new constitution. Those things were happening. I think what we need to say is that let us do our little bit. As the Professor Mother would say, the hummingbird. The little bit, let us voice where we can. Let us act where we can in our own spaces so that we make Kenya better. But to pretend that we want to respect the president, or you are told to respect the presidency, when he is working in the militia, In Mount Kenya region, he is working with Mungiki. He is working with Mungiki. And there's no country. See what happened in Sudan? They started working those things. In Bashir started working with the illegal groups. That's happened in Yugoslavia, in Afghanistan, other parts of the world, even in Europe. That was happening in Kenya. People can see that. That Theka Road at Pagani can be held hostage for hours. Next to Pagani police station, 2 minutes. To Muthaiga police station, 3 minutes. To NIS, National Intelligence Service, only 7 minutes. To GSU, only 6 minutes. To DCI, only 5 minutes. Even to Vigilante, here.
Vigilance House.
And yet, even Kenya Forest Bokarula is closed. In Kisumu, you get CBD closed. So who is safe now? We are all insecure when the country is in the wrong hands, where the militia are dominant. You have seen people, you have seen the majority leader and the other sycophants of the president holding loads of cash that will also being done in the early days of the Moi administration when you saw people queuing there with loads. So the long and short of it is that we are in a bad place, but Kenya is resilient and is optimistic. We can rise and we can actually reroute the cause of Kenya democracy, and that should happen. But I think it is not without people having the temerity, the authorities to say, for Kenya to go, Ruto must go. For Kenya to prosper, Ruto must go. For us to stabilize our nation, Ruto must go. It is not just a slogan. It is because Ruto is incompatible with sovereignty, the integrity, and the statehood of our republic.
Kabando is politician. He's been here this morning, and the things that you've said, you've given that caveat many times that far be it from you to not speak the truth for fear of anything else. Thank you for being here with us this morning. Looking forward to more conversations with you, and of course, pushing this country in the right direction is what would be the desire for many. Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me again. I really feel honored. All the best, and you are doing great work.
Asante sana. Good morning.